Yo. We live? Think I'm live. Yes. Cool. All right. What up, peoples? What up? What up? What up? All right. All right. What up, peoples? So I just put out a video. I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for asking. I just put out a video the other day, talking about how I was gonna put out a bunch of videos, and just as soon as I did that, I started getting some momentum going, and then I fucked around and caught COVID. So I got COVID-19. I got the coronavirus. So yeah. So mind you, I don't really feel it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no effects. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of feel it, but like I don't have no major effects. Like I'm not sick or nothing. But it really messed up my momentum as far as trying to put out these videos. And then like it's like you just be tired. So I'm really really tired right now. So I want you to know, like I'm forcing myself to do this video only because a lot of times this is how it happened. Like I'll go into this momentum where I'm trying to put out videos, and then something will happen and totally distract it and cut it off. So I'm not allowing that to happen this time, because I have a lot of content I want to put out, but this is how it happened last time. The coronavirus kicked in, and then it's like, well, okay, then it messes up the whole momentum. So I don't want that to happen this time. So that's why I'm literally forcing myself to this video. I'm exhausted. You know what I'm saying? I had a really long day, but I really want to get this point out to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Because it's been something that really been sticking with me today, and I want to get it out there before I forget. So let me see. So let me close this. So I want to talk about entertainment and the impact of entertainment and how people really don't understand what entertainment is. So I'm gonna walk you through a bunch of things in the aspect of when you're doing inner alchemy and you're doing through a interchange. You always want to measure how you're receiving the information, and when you're dealing with gratification, self-gratification in regards to inner alchemy, you want to be very precise and accurate on what you're doing and why you're doing it. If there's a difference between education and entertainment. Gratification is a big part of entertainment. So if a lot of times you be doing something and get caught more so in the entertainment aspect of it, more so than the not just the education aspect of it, but also knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Not that these things are separate, because a lot of times entertainment can help give a greater understanding of certain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. However, at the same time, when we talk about the gratification of things, you want to measure how much entertainment you're putting yourself in front of, because this is where the distraction kicks in. This is where people's agendas kick in, even subconsciously sometimes. So you have to know how to separate entertainment from knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's what I want to talk about. When you're dealing with back in the day when entertainment first started, I don't say first started, but like some of the earliest types of entertainment was magic. And this is a reference from Irritated Genie, who would say back in the day, people used to invite magicians over to their house, or they would go see magicians and basically allow the magician to trick them. This was basically what magic was. And a lot of people knew that magic wasn't necessarily real, but and there's a concept called viewer suspension of disbelief, which is basically when you go sit down in front of a movie, or if you go sit down in front of a magician and it's fake, what you're about to see is fake, or same thing, you're like watching a cartoon, but your mind suspends its disbelief. Your mind basically turns off its logic. It literally shuts down the logic, and you go all right brain. So back in the day, magicians used to master this, in that the magician knew that they were going to trick you. You knew the magician was going to trick you, but you just didn't know how he was going to trick you. And you kind of had to allow yourself to do that. So And you had to allow him to hold your attention long enough for you to allow him to trick you. So same concept of back in the day when they say vampire, like if a vampire came to your house, a vampire couldn't get in your house unless you invited them in. So this is literally no different from the situation in regards to entertainment, in that entertainment causes a switch to kick on inside your head where you suspend all logic. You suspend your logic and go all right brain into this world of fantasy where you allow yourself to be tricked and you allow yourself to be manipulated in, and you get gratification from this. So vampires had a certain energy where it was like an outside energy, and when they would come through your door, you basically had to welcome this energy. So that's why I want to give you, a lot of people are familiar with this concept of vampires can only come in your house if you invite them. It's the same thing with entertainment, in that you have to allow yourself to be entertained. You have to literally shut down the left side of your brain and go full right brain and put yourself in this mind frame in order to basically be hypnotized. A lot of times when you're dealing with hypnosis, they'll tell you the same thing. You can't be hypnotized unless you want to be hypnotized. They say a lot of things even with witchcraft. Witchcraft don't have no effect unless you believe in those things a lot of times. So you see a black cat walk across the street, somebody walking under a ladder, it only has an effect if you allow that energy in. So in the word entertain is literally that, is that when you it's the first word of it is enter, which obviously means enter. So you think like moving through doorways, and same thing like I said, a vampire moving through a doorway. The doorways is the same thing inside your mind. It's like doorways, and you letting certain aspects of energy that necessarily wasn't welcome at first, but you're going to allow this energy to enter your mind and suspend certain aspects of your mind and let this energy come in and basically take over. The tane basically means as a thin plate, like a thin mirror, basically like a thin mirror or like like tin foil. That's where the word tin or tane it came from. It's like a reflection, or like when you look in the water, you look in reflective water, or you look on a mirror, or you look on like in a glass, like if it's dark outside and you look at the glass, you see your reflection. That's what you call tane. In that so the entertainer's aspect is to enter your tane, which is like basically your third eye. So the reflective things that they're talking about entering is literally entering your third eye. So when you're entertaining, you're allowing certain like music, or you're learning certain ideas or certain energies. You're allowing this energy to enter your third eye and basically become a part of you. This is like the goal of entertainment, but a big part of that is shutting down your logic in order to get in it. So this is why, when you're doing inner alchemy, you need to be very careful on where you draw that line between, okay, I'm trying to learn something here, but at the same time, this person's trying to entertain me. So where do you draw that line between this person's entertainment versus what you actually learning for yourself, the piece that you're going to pick up on yourself? Because a lot of times people who are entertaining have no ways to basically permanently put things inside your third eye that like permanently attach themselves on you. This is what Smith do. Like this is what certain airways do. We're gonna keep talking about this. So when you say come, like when somebody walk through your doorway, or when they say come, it's the same thing aspect. Even when you having sex, they use the word come, and like come through a door, or like coming and going is enter. It's like entertain. So it's like come, but come is not like even when we're talking about the sexual aspect of come is like an event per se. And then like when they say like you say come is like somebody like walking towards you or approaching you, like come to me, versus like come as an event, and that like they say this time has not yet come, or this it's like an event. It's like it hasn't come yet. They say has Christ come back yet? No, he hasn't come yet. So like it's like the event, but that's not a really good example. Or like when they say the time has come, it means that this event is taking place per se. So it's when you think of entertain, you think of come, even, or they like certain not etymology, but I guess it kind of is etymology, but you know how words have different meanings. But it's a lot of witchcraft plays on this, like to spelled T-O, T-W-O, or T-O-O. Like a lot of witchcraft, they play on, it's like a word play with, I don't even know what, they have a word for that, I just don't know what that word is. But it's the same thing with come, and that entertain is like come, it's like an event. So like you have to think of it in this aspect. And the same thing when I was telling you about letting vampires in, letting energy in, wanting to be hypnotized. Come, you hear this a lot when it's in entertainment. Oh, he's come, or he hasn't come, or like when people enter a scene, like when you watch movies, and how somebody might enter the scene, and the energy that they represent as they enter that scene this is entertain. Like they're not just entering the scene, they're entering your third eye. I hope you grasp what I'm saying. So match the word enter with come in your third eye, not necessarily. I know it sounds a certain way, but you know when you think of entering and come into your third eye, it's like they have entered into your third eye and they have literally placed themselves basically into your body, if you understand it. So when you hear the aspect say thing, here comes the bride, here comes the bride. It's like when you think of the bride walking down the aisle, it's the same aspect of an entertainer moving into your third eye. If you look up the lyrics "Come As You Are" by Kurt Cobain, it's one of my favorite songs. Well, it used to be one of my favorite songs growing up. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's literally talking to entertainment. Read the lyrics to "Come As You Are" by Nirvana. You know, and it's like it's almost, it might, he probably wasn't doing, like a lot of Kurt Cobain's lyrics is based on opposite wordplay and like literally having no meaning. Like so he's literally just, it's like entertainment for the sake of entertainment. And you basically allowing yourself to find deeper meaning in allowing Kurt Cobain into your life. You know, it's gonna make sense out of it. This viewer suspension of belief. It's gonna make sense to you and your world. I'm gonna explain why that is. That's because of the word nymph. I'm gonna explain why that is, and as we keep moving forward. So when you think of concept, like back in the day when I was a kid, one of the greatest magic tricks I had ever seen in my life was they told me that David Copperfield had made the Statue of Liberty disappear. Mind you, he did this on live TV, in front of the whole world. And only the people who was there at the event, the audience who was physically there, was actually to see it, like, right there in front of them. Anybody else on TV watching it from home, we really didn't know if the audience was in on it or not. Like, so this is all part of the whole entertainment process. And then, like, we're allowing ourselves we know that the Statue of Liberty really didn't disappear, but the part of the entertainment process is we're going to allow this energy in and try to figure out the mission of what it was. And at the same time, at the end of the day, you're going to say, man, David Copperfield made the Statue of Liberty disappear. Did he really make it disappear? No, but this is part of, like, it's like the witchcraft, or the way this is what the end result was. And then, like, he was sitting around and saying, man, I want to make the Statue of Liberty disappear. Now, he knows that he can't make the Statue of Liberty disappear, but as long as he can get the world to agree that, and actually say that, man, I made the Statue of Liberty disappear, then that's all that really matters when you're dealing with, especially from an aspect of entertainment. If I told y'all, man, I can fly, and I kept putting out video after video saying, yeah, I know how to fly, and I'm dead and gone 100 years, at the end of the day, if the legend is, man, Blau can fly, does it really matter if I fly or not? You know what I'm saying? If the entertainment aspect is there, this is what's going to help push it over and get the exchange, get the effect that I want as an entertainer. Same thing if you tell me Superman can fly. Superman ain't even a real person, but we all agree that Superman can fly. This is the power of entertainment. Once you allow it to enter your third eye and enter into your life, it's like almost like witchcraft. They do the same thing in courts, in a court system. You know what I'm saying? Like when they send certain letters to your house, you got to come to court. The words the certain wording that they use on the paper. You don't just see this, also in court, but you see this in like even the same thing in marriages, certain events. Even when you go to church, the church ain't just church from a knowledge of understanding. They also entertaining you. It's all the same thing. So like when they start giving you mysteries, like they tell you Jesus walked on water, or they tell you faith and just believe and stuff like this. This is the same alchemy that entertainment uses to basically hijack. Like a lot of entertainment is based on, believe it or not, the magic and the esoteric beliefs of the Bible, like or certain religious experiences. A lot of entertainment borrows from these concepts and basically hijacks the spiritual process with magic. So when you get a paper in the mail saying, "Oh, you got a ticket and you got to pay that shit," like in your mind, it's real. So, you have to go to court for such, or or you've been fined such, or like even when you've been invited to this wedding and you start thinking about the wedding, you gotta get your clothes on, you get all excited, stuff like this, or it's a birthday party coming up and stuff like this. Like these type of what they call these are pagan events. They were used as a way to entertain, but they still use the same blueprint that a lot of the religious and spiritual aspects used to do. So there's a fine line between certain spirituality and like the magic and witchcraft of entertainment. So same thing, you're doing inner alchemy, you want to be clear in these regards. The sequence of entertainment goes from a beginning to a climax to an end. So like a lot of times you watch a movie, you hear a song, somebody telling you a story, stuff like this, or you get certain events, like you go to church, you go to court, you go to a movie, film, something like this. It always has a beginning, a climax, and the end. So this is when you think of entertainment in this way, and when you separate it from the aspect, when the people try to approach you and they try to get your attention, or they might try to get you to respond to certain entertainment, just know that it's like somebody tell you a joke. It's like there's a beginning to this, there's a climax, and there's gonna be an end. Whether you choose to let it entertain you or not is always up to you. That's why when you really learn what entertainment is, it's such a powerful thing just to look at somebody and tell them like, well, I don't feel like being entertained right now, or I'm not entertained, or I don't feel like being entertained, because the more people who sit and watch TV, or like, so if you watch a lot of TV, you spend a lot of time on YouTube watching a lot of videos, the longer, or like you're a couch potato per se, they don't really have as much TV as they do now, but they do have Netflix. Like usually people have Netflix, they sit there for hours or watch a whole season of a whole show in one day, and they'll literally sit there. The longer you sit there, your dopamine kick in, the less critical you're going to be able to think once it goes off. You be tired. Like the longer you sit there and watch TV, once it's over, you tired. It's a lot harder to discern, not necessarily real life, but like the other things that you have going on in your life. They become more passive because you didn't shut down your whole left brain. So the more you think, you get addicted to thinking. The more you don't think and you sit for an hour watching TV, 1 hour turns into 2 hours, 2 hours turns into 3 hours, 3 hours turns, because there's an addiction process going on with the entertainment process. Because it's like either you're doing critical thinking, is either using your left brain, you read a lot of books, you learn a new language, stuff like that. Once you, like they say, object in motion stays in motion. Once you put yourself in that gravitational pull, it's going to continue to feed itself. But you have to understand that search for knowledge, search for truth, reading things like this is total opposite energy of, like watching hours of TV, or like certain types of entertainment where it's like you look at like TikTok right now, like certain things on Instagram, so later, but especially TikTok, like the things that they do on TikTok, like that type of entertainment. Once you fall into that realm of entertainment, once you cut it off, you're gonna notice you're gonna be tired. It's gonna be harder for you to fall back into your normal routine of things, versus if you were already in your normal routine of things. So the beginning, climax, and the ending, the sequence of entertainment is a very big part in locking you in to the cycle and getting you addicted to entertainment. A lot of people in nowadays, we put out like me, I put out content, but I'm not an entertainer per se. So like a lot of times, in this world, entertainers, once you on the other, it's like a trick almost. It's like I'm on the side of this video, y'all on that side of the video. So you kind of sitting there because you want to be entertained, but and I'm holding your attention per se, so you're getting some type of gratification from it. But it's one thing, if you watch it, you have never put out a YouTube video, or you've never been on the opposite end of basically trying to entertain, trying to figure out what goes into these types of things. That's why I said the video, I'm kind of forcing myself to do this shit because I'm not a natural entertainer. So you look at stuff like TikTok and the stuff they have out now. Like I said, the sequence of entertainment, the beginning, the climax, and the ending. My videos don't necessarily go like that. Like you were saying, I just gotta get on here and talk. But when you able to see, you watch a movie or listen to a song, you're able to see that there's a blueprint here. You have to ask yourself, okay, well, this initially started as one thought. Me getting on here, making this whole video, it started just as one thought. You're sitting here watching it, time is passing, I'm talking, I'm walking you through the thought. But this whole thing literally started as just an idea. So and once it's over, it's going to be basically just one idea. While you're sitting here going through the process, there's a beginning, there's a climax, and an ending. Not necessarily in this video, but as you're going through the entertainment process. So keep that in mind as you shut down your left brain. You're going to go through a beginning, a climax, and an ending. Be able to identify those parts as you're sitting through the entertainment process, and it'll help you keep the certain part of your left brain on where you don't get fully immersed into the actual drama of what's going on. Me, a lot of times when I watch film or I watch movies and TV shows, it's very hard for me to fully like when I'm watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or I'm watching, what do I watch? Power. Like I watch Power, stuff like that. Like I be sitting there looking at the makeup on their face. I be looking at the wig on their head. I be trying to look at the set. I be listening to how they say their lines. A lot of times it's very hard for me to get immersed into the actual spirit of whatever I'm watching, because I be looking at the production. You know what I'm saying? I be looking for the climax. I be looking at it like I wrote this whole shit type shit. You know what I'm saying? So I would hope that you do the same in order from becoming fully immersed into certain types of entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Another big part of entertainment is like children and playing, playing with toys and stuff like that. So if you got kids, or even playing video games and stuff like this, we push entertainment on kids as part of a healthy part of growing. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big part of where that line between um, uh, real life and entertainment starts to blend, because when we're children, we're constantly being forced entertainment on us. So we start to think we need to be in an entertainment state 24/7, 365. So we don't know how to come out of that entertainment state. So a lot of big part of entertainment, hold on, I gotta turn my heat. Big part of entertainment is like games per se, playing games, but subconscious games where you don't even realize you're playing a game. So this becomes a part of your second nature. So a lot of times people be in relationships, and like the wife will look at the husband, or the husband will look at the wife, and they'll do something to try to get a reaction per se, and sometimes you get the reaction you want, sometimes you don't, but if y'all both operating off the understanding that, okay, this is just entertainment per se, I'm trying to entertain you, and sometimes somebody might not even be in a mood for that, or like give it just to see entertainment as entertainment. It's okay to say, hey, I just kind of don't feel like being entertained right now, or be able to work through the entertainment, better when you understand that this is what's happening, versus if you fully immerse in it and you don't even understand, like, okay, this is entertainment, we're supposed to respond a certain way, and I got to respond like this and stuff. The dynamic there is kind of fucked up in that if when you dealing with certain people, like like you may be dealing with an idiot, like somebody stupid come over your house, you know what I'm saying, and they sitting there doing stupid shit the whole time, you can say, it's like in Gladiator when we say, are you not entertained, is that not why you here? It's like sometimes people just, like I said, you gotta let the energy in, you gotta let the magician, and you gotta let the vampire in. So like when they're in there, it's like, well, I'm here to entertain, so if you don't really feel like being entertained a lot of times by stupid shit, you start to see how many times people literally try to entertain you without even realizing this is what they're doing. It's like, Joe, I don't really feel like being entertained by you, And in my, like, I've learned that this keeps me clear in my, you're doing inner alchemy. So people trying to entertain that shit, it's like they're trying to get in. It's like, hold on, I'm doing, and I can't let everybody in sometimes, So like a lot of times it's just like when you were shorty, you were a kid, and you playing with toys, and somebody take your toys from you. It's like, oh, he took my toys from me. They get upset. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't, you forget. It's like, Joe, you playing a game. This is the shit we was taught when we was kids. It's like, Joe, this is a game. This is entertainment. Hello, this is entertainment. Snap out of it. This is all about entertainment. Let's separate the entertainment aspect from real life for 1 second. But a lot of times we such in a state of entertainment 24/7, we don't know how to do that. So we turn entertainment situations into like real life situations just based on the fact that somebody didn't react the way they wanted them to react, or like, you try to put out a song and don't nobody listen to your song, or you draw a picture and don't nobody care about your picture and shit like that. It's like you're doing this for entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And you have to remember that you're trying to entertain. So don't base your life off of like the aspect of you have to be in an entertainment mode 24/7, 365. You have your real life. This is entertainment. Wrestlers, like time you watch wrestling, they the same shit, or like even rappers, they try to blend the entertainment with their life of so much real. You run into situations just like Young Buck and Hurricane Chris, who both Pisces, was both arrested today, and they, certainly in aspects like Tupac got killed, over entertainment. You look at Notorious Big, got killed over entertainment. How many people you see in the entertainment industry die trying to immerse themselves in Hollywood or immerse themselves in the music industry, fully immersed with no separation from the entertainment from their real life? This is when this stuff becomes witchcraft and stuff like this. This is why you need to have this vocabulary and understand the alchemy of entertainment. Because if not, it's literally enter your tane, which is your third eye, your the reflective surface. It's like a mirror in the back of your third eye. You know what I'm saying? So this is what people are trying to get access to all day. And you have to. It's up to you to let them in. So you want to be able to go back to when you was a child and understand this was forced on you from a child. So you didn't really separate, entertainment from your real life. And entertainment puts you back into that, that childlike amusement, phase. And this has been a part of you since a child. So understand that when you're dealing with whether it's music, whether it's video games, stuff like this, it puts you back into that nymph frame. I'm gonna explain that in a minute. It puts you in a nymph frame of mind where you feel like a child again. So you got to be aware of that. Pleasure, delight. These are all things that do with entertainment, especially when you was a kid. The word amuse, amusement. When I say amusement park, amuse is really a Greek word for like sometimes in the music industry or in the entertainment industry, they have a word called muse, which is basically like sometimes like a director will have like a chick he's having sex with, per se, not necessarily even having sex with, or like they just have a relationship with, that like she's going to portray whatever acting, whatever film, like you know what I'm saying? Like a muse is like the actors, or like the not necessarily even actors, because sometimes certain writers write music based on like a woman that they didn't fell in love with, or like a woman be in love with a man. You see what I'm saying? So she'll write a song about him. So I'm saying this is what you call muse. So same thing. It's almost like entertainment, in that the same concept of entertainment, in that muse is a device that's used to what's the word? Not reflect, but basically push somebody else's whole body up into your subconscious. Like, I want to give you some good loving. I don't remember the name of the woman that Bob Marley made that song for, but I know he had his wife get up there. He had a woman on the side he was sleeping with. I think it was a white woman, if I'm not mistaken. But like his wife got to get up there and sing vocal background on a song that he was singing to a whole nother woman. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that was some cold-blooded shit. I was like, yo, that's fucking crazy. But she was the muse. The woman he was singing to, I can't think of her name. She was the muse. So when you think of the word amusement, the notion that your subconscious mind makes you think that even though he's singing to that woman, that he's really kind of singing to you. I hope you get that. When you same thing, you watch a movie, you see Luke Skywalker, you subconsciously feel you Luke Skywalker. If you're a woman, you watching Sex in the City, or you subconsciously thinking you're the I don't even know the lady's name. Or you watching Power, per se, you subconsciously think that you're Tasha, or you may see yourself as Ghost, or you may see yourself as this cat. This is the root word of amusement, and that like and hood actually call it avatars, and that like or I was saying from the Azazel mind, and that like your imagination kind of puts you in that in the driver's seat of the actor, actress, or the song or whatever it is, about like you relate it back to you. You know what I'm saying? And this gives you amusement, or like happiness, per se, a certain type of gratification, pleasure, delight, amusement. This is what all these, the Greek aspect of what these words mean. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you get that. The same aspect comes from a slightly different concept called Bacchia. So Bakkhea, which is a Greek word from Dionysus. Dionysus was a god of entertainment. He's also the god of like grape harvest, wine, parties. But then at the same time, madness. He was also the god of madness. He was a god of like religion. He was like not religion, but like the feeling you get, like religious ecstasy. Like, you know, like a lot of times, like it's the difference between Christians and like Catholics. Like, you know, it's the difference between like the kingdom and like religion. So sometimes like religion, like religious people, what they really doing to is going through like the Dionysus process. It's like the religious ecstasy and then like the man, like when some people listen to a lot of gospel music, you know, um, this is, you know, I'm not against none of this. I don't want you to think I'm speaking bad on none of this, but like, you know, somebody put out gospel music without having no type of understanding of the actual things that go into that religion. Like, I can sit here and sing about God all day, but that don't mean that I actually understand the aspects of who God is. But I can still give you that feeling. Even I don't know nothing about God. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could be an atheist. I've been singing about God, and you listen to the song and think like, oh my God, this is such a beautiful, like you might even watch a movie. I'll put a movie out, you know what I'm saying, and it's about God, religion, give you this whole spiritual insight, and I'll be an atheist. You know what I'm saying? So it's this is like the energy of Dionysus, in that you know, I can still hijack that feeling. I know I can entertain that feeling. So Dionysus is also the god of theater. So you think of all these kinds. You think about grave parties, you think about wine, you think about parties, you think about madness, you think about religious ecstasy, and you think about theater, and you combine all these things together, and you're like, well, what is this? We're talking about literally the god of entertainment. So Bakia was literally to be drunk. It's like there's a wine out right now called Bakia. It's like Dionysus used to drink Bakia. It was like he used to get drunk off of basically like the dopamine of like people when they go into this religious ecstasy, or like when you watch a movie and euphoria kicks in, or same thing, like certain people watch a lot of porn and there's a certain level of euphoria that'll kick in. This is this like whether you're watching porn, whether you're going through a religious experience, or whether you're even watching a movie, all three of these same aspects, even though they're totally three different aspects, they still give you the same Dionysus type feeling, which is called Bakia. So this is what entertainment does. You need to separate Bakia from inner alchemy when you talk about gold. Like inner alchemy is basically turning coal into gold, but it's really supposed to be like internal inner alchemy. So when you're doing inner alchemy, you have to separate Bakia drunkenness from like spiritual drunkenness, separated from actual inner alchemy. So it's not the same thing. A lot of entertainment will give you more Bakia, and you'll think it's actual alchemy, but it's really Bakia. So because it's more entertainment. A lot of people who do astrology videos, stuff like this, or like they do, like you watch, you know, subscribe to other people besides me. You watch other people's videos, you see it's more entertainment than actually learning. You see what I'm saying? Like you'll see like people do stuff with their own little style of things, and like they be trying to entertain you. You see what I'm saying? And lots of people get lost in that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, you know, you need to separate the quote unquote Bakia from your actually own inner alchemy. Hope you get that. If you have like the one thing about entertainment that's like not necessarily always have to have, but 9 times 10 you have to have is an audience. So you like me, I don't know who I'm talking to. You know what I'm saying? Right now I'm sitting there talking to a computer / phone. You know what I'm saying? But I know somewhere out there's an audience. You know what I'm saying? And then like even though I'm not sitting here talking to a room full of people like an audience right now, you know what I'm saying? I know somewhere there's an audience. So whenever you're dealing with an audience, you're always dealing with entertainment. So you have to realize that you, as somebody who's in the audience, you're part of a collective. You're part of a group of people. It's like almost like I'm speaking fourth dimensionally. I'm not speaking to one person one-on-one. I'm speaking to a crowd full of people. So whenever you see an audience, you always want to say to go back and separate where you stand in that audience, and that you're going to be receiving this as Bakia more so than inner alchemy. This person is speaking fourth dimensionally. It's medium. It's abstract. He's kind of speaking abstract. So when you want to bring it back to you concretely, like what this got to do with me? You know, you want to be able to, like I say, separate that spiritual drunkenness from like the rest of what the crowd is getting, and really narrow it down to like specifically what does this have to do with me in this real time? You know what I'm saying? So when you go into the audience aspect, remove the audience and look at it more so as like leisure, recreation. There's no audience. The same thing a lot of times is recreation or it's leisure. Like what's the difference between recreation and leisure versus like entertainment? In that leisure or recreation is more concrete. It's more done for the self. More so with entertainment, there's a whole crowd of people. You got the public there sometimes, but people pay tickets to get in. So it's like it's separate the audience and look at it as recreation more so than entertainment, and you'll get less bakia, if that makes sense. Gratification gratification is different from learning. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, I don't like to say sometimes you need to be entertained in order to learn better. Sometimes entertainment will help the person learn better, but at the same time, if you thinking concretely, you need to find the purpose of this more so than just being entertained by it. Like, what is the purpose of this in my life, and why is these things being shown to me at this point in my life more so than like the entertainment? Like, you watch The Matrix, for example. You cut on Star Wars. It's a lot of high spiritual advanced concepts in that. But if they sitting there with lightsabers fighting, or they jumping, like in The Matrix, they jumping out of buildings with lightning and flashing on in the background, you can get lost in that. You know what I'm saying? And this is they put that in there to hold your attention, and then all of a sudden they start talking about higher level aspects that have to deal with enlightening and awakening and stuff like this. They mix all that other stuff in there with it. So a lot of times people can get lost in that. So it takes a separation to be able to like look at certain movies like that and be able to like basically take notes, you know what I'm saying, almost, and look at it like you wrote it yourself and pull apart the actual higher dynamics that's going to make that movie have a purpose for you in your life other than just being entertained. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to be like couch potato and see all these passing things moving through your life, and you never actually pulled anything out of these movies, films, or songs that actually had anything to do with your life and made you into a better person and gave you more purpose in your life. You know what I'm saying? So kind of remove the audience. Also, look at how you get bored. Like me, I don't really get bored. It's hard for me to get bored because my mind is always working. So a lot of times when people get bored, they want to be entertained, and so they become part of an audience. You know what I'm saying? So like whether you turn on the TV or whether you go over here somewhere, it's like don't become part of an audience. And mind you, like I don't want to say it like that because like I don't want you to think I want you to go on like some type of way to stop yourself from being entertained. We live in a world of entertainment where it's almost like 24/7, 365. So it's almost impossible to stop yourself from being entertained. All I'm really trying to do is get you to be aware of the entertainment world versus the real life. And then like sometimes we fully immerse in entertainment 24/7, 365 where we don't know how to just have a normal interaction without trying to entertain the next person. Like people can't just sit down, relax, and just really just enjoy each other's company without trying to entertain. This is where the witchcraft kick in. It'd be like, man, just chill out, man. Here, have a glass of water, sit back, relax. Like it don't have to be entertainment all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm really trying to get you. I don't want you to, go on a boycott of entertainment. I just want you to be able to have a healthy interaction with entertainment where you're not fully immersed in it. You see what I'm saying? So try not to get bored, because when you bored, you always find yourself in the audience. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're in the comment section on Instagram or Facebook somewhere, even try not to be part of an audience all the time. Like, or you know what I'm saying? Or like if you're in the audience, you know what I'm saying? Be aware that, okay, like I'm in an entertainment phase right now and I'm going to, once it's over, I'm going to stop and go back into my world. You see what I'm saying? So try not to get bored. Try not to find yourself a part of the audience. Sometimes people have gratification in learning. Sometimes people can't learn without gratification. Gratification goes back to entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, like people be trying to learn something and they'll get bored and they'll fall asleep in it because there was no quote unquote gratification toward the entertainment aspect of it. Me, I can sit through hella quote unquote boring shit. Like I can look up, like I sit there for 4 hours and watch some shit on. I don't even know what they talking about halfway through the. Like, how you think I get so much information? You know what I'm saying? Because, oh man, what's that word? I should have. Linear versus non-linear thinking. Now, mind you, I'm not sure which is which, but basically one of them is, I believe it's like linear thinking. It has to kind of be in their own world. But it's like non-linear thinking. You can use outside resources. You can, draw from all type of other aspects that don't necessarily fit into that dynamic. So if you're sitting there talking about, religion, you know what I'm saying? And if you kind of linear, you're going to base all of your ideas in the religious context. But if you're non-linear, you might draw from aspects from like The Matrix, or you might draw from aspects from like film or songs or certain levels of entertainment that that don't necessarily fit directly in with religion. You see what I'm saying? So in that same aspect, it gives more gratification to the learner. Certain people don't like that shit. You see what I'm saying? So that's why you need both. It's like same thing. Like when you really go into the Bible, stuff like that, you really want to be able to explain the Bible without using non-linear references like line 9:17, because like it's a line between that and entertainment. So when you, like I said, when last time you start talking about certain aspects of religion, the chakras, the even the Bible, we talk about the Kabbalah, certain comedics. The way you learn these things, the examples that people give you, you know what I'm saying? If you can't learn these things without a certain level of gratification toward entertainment, you need to be aware that you think like that, because you're going to find yourself going to sleep and getting bored, or not being able to go into other nonlinear aspects of thinking when you are that linear. You know what I'm saying? You need to be able to step outside your own boundaries of your gratification per se, if that makes sense. So that is the same thing. They got stuff like edutainment, or infotainment. It's like information and entertainment, or like say education, like not education, edutainment, like mixing education with entertainment. People doing this because they starting to realize that people can't learn nothing unless they entertain. So that's why a lot of kids, like, they learn a lot faster now, because they got hella YouTube videos. Like, I didn't have this growing up when I was a kid. Now they got hella fucking YouTube videos. You can cut on for 10, 15 hours of all types of colors, motherfuckers dancing, teaching the ABCs. It's way more entertaining now, where they don't even feel like they learning. They feel like they're being entertained. You know what I'm saying? So this can later on, in life, when it really comes down to sit down and learn something, they don't have no entertainment there, people run into problems. So you need to be aware. This is about awareness. A lot of this video is about awareness. They had a concept called Shadenfreude. Shadenfreude was like, back in the day, they used to have public executions and shit like this. Like, they still kind of do this over in Iran. Iraq. They have public executions, and like people get entertained off this shit, seeing somebody get hung or seeing their fucking public beheading. People cut somebody's head off right there in the middle of the street, and people just get entertained off this. Now you don't see this as much, because you see how that aspect of entertainment has changed into, like, you see, like, in recordings, you watch movies and like horror movies, stuff like this, or like people watch people get killed, like people go online and watch like real gory, crazy videos, or like people getting in fights and getting their ass whooped. This is called like Shadenfreude, or Shadenfreude. It's a Greek word. It's like basically getting off on watching other people's failures, or people going through misery and stuff like this. Like, this can be a form of entertainment. You know what I'm saying, to certain people. So public execution, stuff like that. Like I said, you don't really see that as much anymore, but you do see an increase in people watching violent videos, or like people watching, people getting killed. Like, you think like George Floyd, the George Floyd video, when watching him, people sit there and watch that whole video. Like, at some point, it becomes entertainment subconsciously. You see what I'm saying? So you don't know you're being entertained from this. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be aware. Like I said, you're doing interactive. You'll be aware of the things that you letting in your third eye. Shadenfreude happens subconsciously a lot of times. If people tell you back in the day, hey man, you used to go to public executions, I didn't watch people die, I didn't watch, stuff like that. Like that type of culture has changed. People like, if I told you, there was gonna be a public execution up the street, and a lot of people are gonna go watch it, certain people will look down on that. Some people are like, oh shit, let's go, but then you got the bunch of people look down on that. It's like, man, I'm not gonna go look at that, because they feel a connection they feel that person's pain. You see what I'm saying? So they looking at it like, man, that could be me. You're talking about amusement earlier, like being amused. Like some people look at that like, man, that could be me. They'll what's the word, man? Empathize, not sympathize, but yeah, sympathize and empathize with that person, like empath. So they don't. Some people can't get off. Get off, but some people can't get off on that type of energy, like watching horror movies, really gore horror movies. It's not entertainment to certain people. You see what I'm saying? Whereas some people it is. So Shadenfreude is like the lower tier, like the low tier of entertainment. So if you're attracted to that type of entertainment, then yeah, you're deeply immersed in entertainment, and you probably like these people find more desperate levels of entertainment, and they're like it's almost harder. Like they need it's like dopamine addiction. Like these them type of people is addicted to entertainment, and like these are the type of people that need to stay in entertainment mode 24/7, 365. Like people who can sit around and watch that type of shit because they feel their third eye is fucking gone. So not necessarily gone, but it's just like it's a lot less filter there, and so they're a lot less concrete. You know what I'm saying? When you an empath and you watching people get killed, or you watch people go to court and get a life sentence and shit like this, and like you watch enough of that shit, you start to want to watch more of it. You know what I'm saying? And you start to feel because like you get super sensitive to other people's pain and stuff like this, and you start feeling more and more like an empath. But what you don't realize is you didn't really just enter the entertainment world, like, and you kind of putting yourself in the entertainment aspect of 24/7, 365 entertainment. A lot of empaths or spiritual people will walk on that path. You know what I'm saying? And not even know that. So like they become like mediums, but they always in a state of like people can entertain these motherfuckers however they want. You know what I'm saying? Like they're highly susceptible to entertainment. Like I said, if you want the vampire to come in your house, you gotta let him in. So if you are into public execution, watching gory videos, stuff like this, or like Shadenfreude, you gonna let vampires in a lot more quicker than somebody who's not into that. So be aware of that. Shit, what was I gonna say, man? The reason why Trump won, it wasn't necessarily because he was the best politician per se. He knew how to keep the people entertained. He knew how to hold people's attention well with the words he was using. He also, in those when we talk about Shadenfreude, he wasn't scared to put down the next person almost personally. He called him Sleepy Joe, called Crooked Hillary. You heard all the like the names he was calling, his opponents. He knows how to keep people entertained, especially the type of people who are into Shadenfreude. You see what I'm saying? So you're able to see how somebody like Trump, in that he's a totally inexperienced politician, was able to win that whole election just based off the entertainment aspect alone. There was another movie a long time ago came out called Robin Williams. Robin Williams, it was called Man of the Year, I think it was, where like it was the same thing. It was like a comedian who ran for president, and I think he ended up, I don't know if he won. I don't think I saw that movie, but I remember something similar in that, like he was winning just because he was a good entertainer. So a lot of that type of aspect of politics is entertainment. There's another movie called Wag the Dog. I don't know if you ever seen that, but it's like I think it had Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman, and it was the same thing. Like they were showing it's a very fine line between the news and entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So the news still have to draw an audience. Like same thing, the newspaper still gotta sell newspapers. They still have to push commercials on you. You know what I'm saying? So they have to hold people's attention so they can run commercials in between. So like even the news and the politics, even though they give you this information, there's always an entertainment aspect to it, where they're trying to get a hold of your third eye. So keep aware of these things. When you're talking about Trump, you talking about politics and stuff like that. Yeah, they didn't fully got in. They didn't fully got into your third eye, and like you feel like you were part of that reality. Like you know what I'm saying? Like nah, actually they didn't. You didn't got caught up in some type of level of entertainment. Hope that makes sense. Nymph. I was gonna tell you about nymph. Nymph is a nymph is it's a Greek concept. It's almost, I don't want to say like a child, but these are like women. The word nymphomaniac basically is a play on the word nymph, in that nymphs were like almost like fairies, but they weren't necessarily like fairies, but they were like local women in certain areas that they didn't really talk much. I won't say they didn't talk much, but like they were just kind of there. It was like they were of the earth. That's the word I'm looking for. It was like they would walk around naked almost. And it was like they were just kind of earthly, like very earthly women, that was like they just kind of lived in that area. They didn't really go nowhere. It was like, I don't want to say dogs almost, but it's like, you think of a dog in the backyard, the dog don't really go nowhere unless you walk it. You know what I'm saying? Like the dog don't really know how big the city really is or the whole state. He don't have no concept of like the city, the state, country, the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? He just know the backyard and kind of like the house in that area. That's kind of how nymphs were. Not necessarily dog-minded, but just in the aspect of like they stayed locally in that area, and that was like all they really knew. So the nymph was who Dionysus, a lot of time, Dionysus was not say preying on, but Dionysus was a god, and he used to kick it with nymphs. He used to try to fuck on nymphs. He used to get drunk with nymphs. because they were kind of like easy targets per se for him as an entertainer. We're talking about magicians trying to fool people, trying to trick people. It's easier to fool a nymph because nymphs are all, it's like they're not critical thinkers per se. Because when they left brain is already kind of shut down in that regard. Also, nymphs stay locally to that area, so that's all they know. So if you know the local jokes, if you know the local language, if you know that local level of entertainment, you're able to entertain in that regard to those types of nymphs. So like you think of like you in Mexico, Mexican nymphs have a certain type of humor. If you go to Russia, you tell Mexican jokes, it's not gonna work. If you know what I'm saying, you're America nymphs have a certain way of humor aspect, a certain way they want to be entertained. So like certain things you watch, like foreign movies, foreign films, like I used to watch a lot of foreign movies back in the day. My girl, whoever I was with at the time, would always end up falling asleep. I watch a lot of documentaries and stuff like this. People sitting there watching me 5-10 minutes into it, they falling asleep. So I'm saying because I'm not a nymph per se. I can watch information from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But like nymphs can only be entertained off of local, not necessarily local, but you know, the way that their world is, you kind of have to deliver the entertainment according to that person in that world. So the concept of nymphs are a very big part of entertainment in that you kind of have to put yourself in nymph mode in order to let this person in to come there and entertain you. Most people walk around in nymph mode, and if you watching hours and hours of television a day, you're highly susceptible. You're kind of earthly. It's put you in that earthly nymph state where it's like, oh, okay, I'm just chilling, watching TV. I'm relaxed. You know, I ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be aware of these things. Like saying, like speaking of nymphs, and they're like, they did a test a while. They were saying like, okay, if I came to you and I told you, I want you to give up your state, like whatever state you're like, I'm in Illinois. So I'm saying, but if somebody came to me and was like, Joe, for $1,000, we want you to give up your statehood. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to claim Illinois no more. I want you to claim Cali. I want you to claim California. So I'm saying, I want you to claim New York. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, you want to give me $1,000 basically switch my license and just say I'm a New Yorker instead of an Illinois? Yeah, we'll give you $1,000 to do that for the rest of your life. Just say that you from New York instead of Illinois for the rest of your life. We'll give you $1,000. You know, like, all right, well, that ain't a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter to me. I'm from the United States. It's all the same thing anyway. It don't matter. So like, people don't have the way the concept of whatever state you from and the understanding of who you are. Like we're talking about nymphs from like, if you from New York, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I say, no, you're not from New York, you're from Cali. And from now on, I want you to say that, you know, people in the witness protection program, they go through this type of shit all the time. Like, oh, no, I'm from Cali. You know, does it really matter to you? You're like, nah, I really don't give a shit. You see what I'm saying? The way you identify yourself from that local region as a quote unquote, we say nymph. A lot of times people don't really give a shit. But if I ask you, hey, for $1,000, would you stop watching TV for the rest of your life? You can never watch a video again for the rest of your life. So I'm saying people wouldn't even do that shit for $1 million. Like, so people, they would offer you hey, I'll pay you $1 million. You can never watch TV. You can never watch another video again for the rest of your life. People still wouldn't do that shit. You see what I'm saying? So it's people that was willing to trade their whole statehood that for $1,000 that won't even stop watching TV for $1 million. That's the power of entertainment, and that people want to be entertained. It's an addictive process to that. The missing capstone to this, if you look on the back of the dollar bill, there's a pyramid that goes up like this and then it cuts off. There's no cap to the pyramid. There's no point. The pyramid don't never come to a point. That's supposed to symbolize that there's work that's always needs to be done, and the work that you're trying to do was never be accomplished. So there's a missing capstone. The missing capstone from the aspect of entertainment is you, in that if you're constantly being entertained, you're constantly looking for something. You're constantly looking outside the self. You're constantly letting all of these things in, thinking that that's going to make you up who you are. It's not really until you remove all of those things out of your third eye and you get back to the core values of who you are. That's when you find the missing capstone to what it is that you're looking for. The key word with Sagittarius is I seek. That's where you get the arrow. It's like somebody who's seeking something spiritual. A lot of times saying something spiritual. You know what I'm saying? You can spend your whole life watching YouTube videos. You can spend your whole life reading these books and learning this inner alchemy and stuff like this. But just know that you are the missing capstone. So it's like saying to you watch The Last Dragon. They told him, and he kept looking for the mask. He was like, man, I'm trying to find the mask. I'm trying to find the mask. I'm trying to find the mask. It was like, well, you didn't got to that point. You are the master. It's just like, it's nothing, you know, there's always a self growth. You know, you want to go through the self, the inner self. You want to do inner work, but you know, when it starts becoming entertainment, you know, that's you kind of need to check yourself and remember you are the missing capstone. This is all here for you. So you have to find your purpose in the middle of all of these things. Like I said, I'm on the other side of this. You watching me, I'm on the other side of this. You see what I'm saying? So you want to find yourself, start doing the same thing. You want to, you want to start giving your testimony of what your life is and what life is to you. You so instead of always trying to look to the other person, you know what I'm saying? At some point you need to start, like say Tane is a reflective, so it's like the reflective part of your third eye. It's the back third eye. You know what I'm saying? But at some point you gotta start, it's not about taking in, it's about putting it out. You know what I'm saying? To let other people see the good in you, you know, like I said, who you are with your eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily who you are saying it, but what is the purpose of you? What do you represent? You know what I'm saying? What are you doing to change the world? You know what I'm saying? You are that missing capstone. So, you know, don't let your whole life be consumed by entertainment. It's always, you always gonna find entertainment. Everybody is wants to be entertained. There's a certain aspect of entertainment, even in you know, in this video, it's kind of almost unavoidable. So I'm saying, but it all boils down to you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you got to become that missing capstone and figure out what these things mean to you. So I hope that makes sense. So I want y'all appreciate y'all watching this video. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't signed on my Patreon, make sure you sign on my Patreon, because like I said, a lot of these videos go on there. You're not gonna really have access to a lot of these videos. So you know what I'm saying, definitely want to sign up for my Patreon. Appreciate y'all watching. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get up out of here. Like I said, I do have COVID-19. Believe it or not, I've been sitting there talking about this whole time. I got coronavirus. So, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, all the prayers. All the people telling me get well. I appreciate it. I really do. You know what I'm saying? Believe it or not, my whole family got coronavirus. It ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that you want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? You can aspect, I'm okay. But you do spend a lot of time just trying to figure out, you know, how you going to get basic shit. Like, you got to go to the store. You got to, like, you know what I'm saying? You still need to interact with people, and it's very hard to interact with people knowing you got coronavirus and you might spread it to somebody else. That's what will fuck me more than anything. You know what I'm saying? So, just, you know, I'm gonna be okay, but like, you know what I'm saying? Just, I really pray for me that I don't spread this shit to nobody else, man. You know what I'm saying? That's really what concerns me more than anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm spending a lot of time, you know, just isolated in the crib, which I already be doing anyway. But you know what I'm saying? It's just difficult knowing that like you literally cannot even go to the store to like, you know, to go get some water and shit like that. Like that is kind of rough. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I've been working through it though, you know. So I appreciate everybody, you know, all the prayers, all the get wells, all that, man. You know what I'm saying? And make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you like and share this video. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna get up out of here. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?